Hello once again, everyone. Thanks for tuning in to another edition of AIW's The Card is Going to Change. Before we get into this week's show, of course, we want to give a wonderful thank you to our sponsors that help us bring the show to you for free on whichever podcast platform you choose to listen. Thanks to Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. If you've never tried it, you've got to give it a shot, whether it's at one of our live events at the Odeon, or maybe you've got something going on and you need it catered. We definitely recommend Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. Follow them on social media at smokin_Jays, Jays, BBQ. And especially if you are in the Massillon area, they've got a spot and go check them out. You can pick up some stuff from them. The events, if you have one and you want it catered, and you've got some people who are not into eating meat, don't you worry. They've got some vegan options, some vegetarian options. They will cater literally to all of your needs. So check out Smokin' Jay's Barbecue. And of course, thanks to the merger of Smart Mark Video and IWTV, watching AIW has never been easier. You can go to smartmarkvideo.com and purchase a DVD of any AIW show that has ever been put out on DVD or MP4. It's all there available for you. You can also download the MP4s if digital is the way that you like to go. And if you're more into streaming platforms, then go to IWTV, download the app for Independent Wrestling.tv, and sign up using the code ABSOLUTE so they know that you got sent there from us. It's $9.99 a month. Not only do you get to watch a rotating archive of AIW shows, plus our live streamed events, but there are plenty of other independent wrestling promotions on there as well. Plus, there are interviews and other series, like docu-series on there. Fantastic thing to check out on IWTV, so make sure you do that if you are an independent wrestling fan. And our biggest sponsor, of course, we want to thank. They helped make Absolution at the Tadmor Shrine a success, thanks to Royal Docks Brewing, and specifically their Backyard Crusher. It was a featured beer at the Tadmor Shrine. Everybody enjoyed it that tried it, so a big thanks to them. And
it sold out.
It sold out. That was the next thing I was about to say. So amazing. It must be that good. There you have it. And then, of course, our friends over at Great Lakes Geek Fest, who are the big promoters of this week's Great Lakes WrestleFest, which we will get into on this episode. And we'll talk a little bit about Absolution 15. But before we get into those things, we want to welcome our panel here, so to speak. As always, AIW owner John Thorne is here. And
yeah, I guess people didn't miss me too much, according to Ronald Two Legs.
And Ronald Two Legs is here.
People really flapping their gums at the show, I guess.
That's what I heard. Yeah, Ronald Two Legs is back. He doesn't have to sit in the host chair because my name is Steve Guy, your moderator of sorts. But we've got a 3-man crew going on here for the first time in a while, and Two Legs part of the fold here now with the full roster, I guess.
All I said was,
I'll see myself up.
Someone told me that you and I, Steve, did a good job on the review show, and he was like, "Oh well, fuck me then, I guess, right?" That's good.
It's a sensitive guy. You don't know that, Ronald Two Legs. You gotta watch out.
You guys are gonna regret that.
I tried to just put me and you over the tiniest bit, Steve, and fucked myself real good there.
Well, you obviously don't know John Thorne very well. You can't put yourself over to John Thorne.
I can't. I haven't been around too long. I don't know. I didn't know.
That's like rule number one.
There ain't a person that's ever been over in my eyes. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, exactly.
What about Uncle Scott?
Scott
Norton?
Hall?
No, Hall. Uncle Scott Hall.
Scott Hall?
He's pretty over.
Oh, yeah. He can put himself over. You can't.
No, I'm just saying. You said nobody. I'm just saying Uncle Scott.
He means people that he didn't look up to growing up.
Oh, I got like us peasants. I got you.
Yeah, no peers or people he works with. None of that. Remember that Britt Baker pop?
Yes.
Yeah, none of that. Don't put her over.
Wasn't even over for John Thorne.
Nah, it could have been
better. Before we talk about everything, Thorne, you missed it last week, but I was here, so we brought back the shout-out segment. And
fuck me.
That's right, pal. It's back again. So big shout out to Backyard Crusher. I know we already gave one to Royal Docks, but another one, because it sold out, everybody loved it. It was a great addition, and they brought some beers for everybody in the back to take home with them. So that was fun and exciting.
Well,
Not to drink.
it was supposed to be locker room beers, but we got in a little trouble with that.
We did, yeah. But, some people took them home. It's fine. And
I have a sneaking suspicion that all those beers that made their way into my trunk, maybe making their way into the locker room barn or whatever it is we're using this Saturday.
oh, okay. Good to know. Everybody will be happy about that during the Fonzie Hardcore Tournament. Also, a big shout out to, we do this far too often, but for good reason, Jeremy and, of course, Patty, who took care of everybody. There was a lot of bloodshed at Absolution 15, and thank goodness we have the two of them there to patch everybody up, because, wow, that was ridiculous. And also, shout out to the students who had to mop all of that up afterwards. That was a lot of cleanup.
Yeah. There's a lot.
You know what I'm not going to shout out, though, Steve?
Yeah, go for it.
The uncharged walkie-talkie in the gorilla area, in which when whoever was cleaning the ring was really being lackadaisical about it, and I was screaming into a walkie-talkie that apparently I later discovered was not even charged. Steve, get in the fucking ring. This is taking forever. Just let's go. And I was like, why is he not listening to me? I was losing my mind. I was like, Steve, get in the fucking ring. I kept screaming it. And I was like, why is he ignoring me? And I started screaming from the curtain, Steve, get in the fucking ring. And then it turned out that wasn't even charged. You weren't even hearing me. So I couldn't even be mad at you. I instead turned my anger to Porter O'Shea, Jake Clemens, and the refs, who were supposed to make sure that all of the audio equipment is readily available at my disposal, and it was not.
From what match was that?
I don't know, one that seemed to take forever to sweep.
It was the first one, because that kid was taking one other student.
I think it was Twan and Justice, and I was like, Jesus, we have a long night. Let's go.
Yeah.
So
Plus,
there's only 4 chords that charge them all. And there's like a weird rotation of ones that are actually charged, ones that there's like.
I'm gonna interrupt you there. I'm gonna interrupt you there, Ronald Two Legs, because there used to be a gigantic charging system that could charge them all at once. That apparently is missing.
So there's, like I was just gonna say, there's only, as far as I know, of those little black cords that come out of the white box, there's only 4 black cords.
There was
left.
something completely different than the white box. It was like a cordless phone charger that fit them all. It was like a big industrial. Could charge them all at once. That apparently is missing.
Yeah, I have no idea what that is or where it is, but when I get there and take the microphones out of that thing, I try to plug all those in for everybody. I didn't know someone was in charge of it, but I just been plugging all that shit in. But as far as I know, there's like 2 of those walkie-talkies don't charge at all. I think the batteries might be fucked on them. I think only 4 of them actually charge, but I could be wrong. But I haven't been around long. I'm just, you know what I mean? I'm just what's there in front of me. So
it's good. I've spent hundreds of dollars on them. And then I had to get all new earpieces because those all got lost prior to the AIW 3D.
Oh boy, I hang on to mine. I keep mine in my bag. I keep it with me, so I don't have that issue. So. Yeah.
You may continue your shouting of violence. I just had to go on that little rant there.
He was fucking screaming, though, too. And then we kind of looked around her and like, well, who's got a radio back? Somebody tell him in the ring, because this one don't fucking work.
Somebody did.
Yeah.
I think eventually communicate to me. But even I was like, I was out there and I was trying to tell the kids, I was like, hey, let's go, you guys. Like, what are we doing here? We got to go. And eventually I was like, all right, this is what it is. I'm going to kick all these bigger pieces off. It's I'll tell you, it's quite the task to teach people how to sweep. I
got a leaf blower. You think we should bring that? That could maybe help get some.
Is it electric or is it?
Yeah, it runs on a battery.
Yeah, okay. As long as it's not gas, you don't want those fumes in the building.
No, like a drill battery. You plug like one of the drill.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, cool. What other shout outs? Shout out to the Upper Deck. Good times there.
Oh.
I'm going to go on another rant, Steve. You're really fucking bringing it out in me today. I'm not shouting out the Upper Deck.
We haven't been able to do
I got
this
charged
in a
to
while.
cover charge.
$5.
Again, I got a cover.
Tried to charge me twice, and I was like, I am not paying. Come on. And she was like, all right, go ahead. And Steve was just looking around confused.
We need it's going to be a while until we're back at the Tadmor Shrine. I think we're not back until October, but we need to find an official place to go that is not the upper deck, because I got a lot of issues. It's a great location. It looks cool. $5. Don't like it. Don't like that at 1:45 a.m. they say the bar is closed.
Gotta go.
And they just push you right out the door.
Yeah.
I mean, because we didn't get there until like 12:30, 12:45.
Yeah.
And that's wild because that place was fucking packed. So that makes me surprised that they pushed all those people and all that money out the door, because you could have collected a lot more in the next 45 minutes. You know what I mean?
Well, you don't need all that money when you just collect $5 before they even get in there.
Right.
Must be why, yeah.
Well, my personal shout out from the upper deck is they have a gumball machine. Big fan of gumballs, and the bartenders where we went inside took good care of us, and it was very nice. They were on top of things there. We were in the not so crowded bar. Got some mozzarella sticks real fast, and
I
it's
was
good to go.
shocked by that. I was like,
You were
it was like. Because there was people everywhere. It was fucking madness. And you're like, yeah, I'm going to get some mozzarella sticks. I'm like, okay, to fucking see how long this takes. And before you know it, you had one left. And I was like, holy shit, you already kind of ate them and got them? Or like, what the fuck is happening? And you're like, yeah, man, I know people. I was
I'm
like,
going to give you a shout out, Steve, because I was really hungry and I took one of those mozzarella sticks. And it brought me back to life.
I was just going to say, I said, I didn't get to eat all of my mozzarella sticks. I had to make sure I gave one up. Yeah.
Because I got I got a little too into those backyard crushers at the Shrine concession stand there. I hit it hard, and I go through kind of my phases, where I'm not a beer guy. Then sometimes you really want a beer. Like mainly at like a show, you just want a beer. You know what I mean? And man, those were going down so nice and easy. It was a little dangerous. So I was kind of happy that they sold out. They sold out like around intermission. So then,
Oh, wow.
I didn't want to switch to Bud Light. So then, it gave me some time to level out a little bit by the end of the show.
Do you guys have any shout outs?
yeah. Johnny Gargano. He was cool. He was fun to hang out with. I feel like he gave a lot of people his time back there, the wrestlers, so people were, talking to him. He watched a lot of matches. He was a cool guy. I like it,
Yeah. Also, a big shout out to Johnny, because he was not going to talk or do anything, and then all I did was introduce him at intermission, and the live fans got a nice little extended promo and chatter from Johnny, so that was pretty good.
Yeah, he kind of was like a de facto agent on Saturday night, and really took his time with pretty much every single match, and gave his input, watched the whole show. As soon as people would come through the curtain, he would give them feedback and input, and just his perspective on different things, and especially for it being such a relatively young card full of, just newer wrestlers for the most part. It was an invaluable experience for all of them to kind of be able to get that feedback, live, real time, from somebody that knows exactly what they're talking about. So I will also use that as my shout out as well, because it was so great for all of them to be able to experience that and get that feedback, and it can only make you better, right?
Yeah. He's a big fan of Twan calling people goofballs.
Dude,
found that out.
Well, that was that was kind of a special moment, actually, because you didn't get to experience that, Steve. Yeah. But Twan came back and he's pretty emotional when he saw Johnny at the monitor, and he told Johnny and he said it in front of everybody. He said it was his dream, since he became a wrestler, it was his dream for Johnny Gargano to watch one of his matches. Wow. And not only did he watch it, he was there live to see it. And Twan almost kind of broke down crying a little bit. He was very emotional and very moved by that. So just that's a little, quite literally peek behind the curtain there.
Yeah, you could tell he meant it. And I almost wasn't going to say that whole part because, I don't know, what's just for us. And, I haven't been around so much. But he really meant that shit. And when because like you said, he didn't just, say it to Johnny. Or he let everyone know, that was a special moment for me. And he got the dub, too. Like that, you know what I mean? That was big. And then John even referenced it later in the night. He's like, "Yeah, we got to watch Twan wrestle again." And then Twan was like, "Man, come on, don't hype me." He was feeling it. There was a lot of good moments. At Abso. Saturday was sweet.
Oh, so many feel good moments for sure, and I know we'll get into them. But real quick, big shout out to Pedro, who was so instrumental, as he always is, but in multiple things, in particular at Absolution. Loved on Twitter. People are like, "Who's this guy with the bare hands doing barbed wire?" Hey, that's Pedro, CFO of AIW right there, man. Doing what Pedro does and making sure that everything can go according to plan. The mind behind the building of the Duke entrance, making sure the Duke entrance goes off. Pedro, right?
What an invaluable part of the team, right?
Yeah.
He's even the last guy to leave at the end of the night, and I'm there, and I'm like, he's sweating and he's mopping up blood, and I'm like, dude, come here. He's like, what's wrong? I was like, I just want you to stop for a second. Just take a breath, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let's just, we did it. We pulled it off. Let's take a second. You know what I mean? There's students and all these other people that can help with this stuff. And, he's just such an invaluable part of the team. So thankful for everything that he does. It seriously works tirelessly to make sure all this stuff goes off without a hitch, and has to deal with my just spur of the moment, oh, I forgot to tell you about this person that's on the show, and he figures out the money, and he makes the seating charts, and he does all this other little stuff that you would never guess. We made a joke about the Duke on a throne, and literally within 1 hour, Pedro had bought all the materials and woodworked and built that entire thing within an hour. That's another funny Gargano story. He said he looked and he said, "I think the friggin' Duke's entrance cost more than all of my Absolution paydays added up," which is a direct quote from him when that was going on. He's like, "What the heck, man? The Duke's entrance cost more than I've ever made at Absolution. This is crazy. This place has changed since 2016.
The best part is he didn't even say. He said it. I won't say it now, but Thorne said a dollar amount, how much it cost, and Johnny looked disgusted. And it's not even a lot of money. It's it wasn't crazy. And he's like, "That's more than all of my AIW paydays altogether." But yeah, too. Hey, you're the shark. When we built that shark, I was like, "Man, that's pretty sick." And then the very next thing, he builds that fucking throne. The guy just is always one-upping himself. He's the fucking Pedro's the man.
Yeah, it's pretty great to have him on board.
Somebody had a picture. Somebody took a picture of the Duke when they were walking. He's holding up the one finger, and you can see everyone in it. And somebody was like, "Man, Pedro looks like he's really regretting this choice because he looked so angry to be oh, I don't know, just in the moment, if you get a still of somebody, sometimes they could just have a look on their face, and Pedro just looks so angry. He wasn't probably, but it's a funny photo.
Thorne, do you wanna shout out your Italian American friend who unfortunately passed away this week?
Oh, Paul Sorvino.
Paul
or whatever.
Sorvino. I know you're a big fan of those Italian Americans on television and cinema.
Yeah, it is a bad year to be an Italian American icon of cinema and television, right? Ray Liotta, Tony Sirico, aka Paulie Walnuts, James Caan. It's bad.
They're dropping like flies.
Joe Pesci better start taking a multivitamin or something.
Yeah, I haven't seen him in a while. Joe Pesci. I wonder how he's doing.
Maybe he's already dead.
Oh God, don't say that.
That in a while.
Let's hope not. All right, enough of the shout outs. We're deep into this episode.
Jesus.
Kim Bishop's gonna be mad because the shout out segment's too long.
Oh no.
So into this, we talked. I mean, we've talked a little bit about Absolution. We've given you some peeks behind the curtain. What an incredible night! I guess truly the final shout out though is to you fans who showed up and packed out the Tadmor Shrine, because what an atmosphere. Thorne, we've talked about before on here that the vibe in there for a couple shows is kind of off, kind of weird. It was like the noise just kind of went up and you lost it or something. We weren't really sure. We just weren't getting. We knew that the energy was there from the crowd, but for some reason wasn't translating to us, and we weren't feeling it so much in the ring. But that was not the case this past weekend, this past Saturday at Absolution. Those fans were, man, they came pumped up, and I think they stayed pumped up the entire night, and it was fantastic. So big thanks to all of you for packing it out and just bringing all of that energy the entire evening.
Yeah, I mean, it was, man, it just felt so good, right? Absolution, our big show, just getting, the people to come out like that and stay hot and be on board for everything that we were doing and, kind of being along for the ride like that. Man, it was just it was an incredible night.
Yeah, for the first time in 3 years that we get to have this event, and man, it felt special. Everything about the night felt special, between the matches and moments within the matches. Just the matches in general, because as you've put out on social media, Thorne, largely homegrown talent filled this card, but every match still felt big, whether it was going into Absolution or as Absolution was happening and those matches were occurring and people were walking out. Like everything it felt big. We didn't have to bring in a ton of extra names, but man,
what's crazy is you bring Johnny in, but like Johnny is also kind of a homegrown name too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it really kind of fit the theme, honestly.
Yeah, 100%. And and even moments like bringing Gringo Loco back, right, as a surprise, and for him, then he asked me for the mic. He's like, "Am I going to get in trouble?" I was like, "Maybe, we'll see." I said, "Maybe just make it quick." And him wanting to thank AIW and the fans for putting him on the map, really, that's special. Because people don't necessarily look at Gringo Loco as an AIW quote-unquote homegrown guy. But, man, this is where people
just don't remember.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, we were kind of the first people that gave him a shout outside of, local Chicago lucha shows. And, he said, he wanted to make sure people knew that. He understands that, he's not a name that, is so quickly associated with AIW, but in his mind he is, and he was very thankful for it, and he wanted to say it. He didn't tell me he was going to say that beforehand or anything, and he was one of, it's kind of crazy, but one of the few active wrestlers still available on the independents that was able to spend time with Chandler Biggins, so it was just a real special night for him. Yeah,
big deal. And Two Legs, just chime in real quick, because along with Gringo Loco was Commander, and I know you were sitting back there watching, and plus Gringo Loco, I gotta imagine is one of the first guys from when you were coming around, maybe that kind of stood out, right?
Oh, yeah, he was on all those first shows and, lucha stuff, doing the flips and all that. A lot of times, some of my first indie shows, those were big moments that stood out, especially because a lot of those scrambles were so hot. Some of those matches and all those shows, those scrambles were always wild as fuck. But Gringo's always been a nice guy. He's always kind of said what's up. So, you know, I mean, I've known him for a while. But even, and the funny thing is, too, he comes out to like a Drake song. And I went over to him and I was like, "Are you gonna come out to Drake, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, yeah." And he's like, "Oh no." He goes, "You gotta play the Mr. Miyagi, you know, that's his AIW, you know, that's what everyone knows him as." And I was like, "Hell yeah," because that's what I kind of wanted to play. That's what I assumed. But when I looked on like the cage match thing, if I try to like see what they come out to, it didn't have that on there at all. And I don't even know what that song's called, so I didn't know like how to.
It's called Mr. Miyagi.
Yeah. Aside from just saying that, I didn't really know what to say. But yeah. But Commander was. Whew, that dude was sweet as hell.
Yeah, that's, I mean, multiple giftable moments, but the one that stands out, of course, is when he's just bounced on the middle rope, back to the top, to the middle, to the top. Like, I don't even know what to make of it. Everybody was losing their minds.
One. The rope walk one, where he goes the whole length of the rope and does the big back moonsault, is fucking insane as shit.
Yeah. Was he worth the flight, John Thorne?
I'm not going to say how much that flight was, but it was a lot. And I think it was worth it for the moments and the surprise. You know, it's kind of funny when he came out. There's a lot of people that like didn't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like who he was or what he could do. And yeah, I mean, it was very expensive, right? So I had given Gringo Loco the date a while ago. He double booked himself, and you know it was local where he was booked for Warrior Wrestling or whatever, and then they ended up canceling a bunch of their dates just for some reason. And you know he messaged me right away, and he was like, "Hey, you know I'm available." So I'm like, "Well, let me look," and he's like, "Oh, and I got this guy Commander and blah 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 blah," and like. You know, we work out this deal, and then he's like, I was like, so, like, where's he from? Chicago? You know, I thought he was like a Chicago lucha guy, like Gringo Loco was, you know? And he's like, oh, no, he's from Mexico City. So you can only imagine what a flight from Mexico City is with about 4 days notice. But it was hefty, but, you know, like, tickets were doing well, and you know what I mean? Absolution isn't necessarily about making a big profit. You know what I mean? It's more about creating those kind of moments and, you know, delivering a big show. So, you know, I ran some numbers and I went, you know what? Like, fuck it. Let's just do it. And, you know, we were able to work it out and, you know, sneak them in, and, you know, nobody had any idea that match was going to happen. And, you know, we threw that together, you know, like I said, in about four days before Absolution.
Yeah, it was fun and exciting, and what a way to kick off Absolution, and then just set the stage for all of the moments to come. And you know, at some point we'll break down the whole show, but there's a lot to talk about here on this episode, and we got a little bit of a hard sell here for our Fonzie tournament coming up this weekend in Ashtabula, which there are still tickets available for, folks. But, you know, just some of the highlights, I think, that stick out, of course, you know, special moments. Twan picking up the big Absolution win. You know, we talked about it last week, Two Legs and I, but, you know, some of these big debuts, like Members Only having a huge Absolution debut, you know, very special. The Duke entrance, of course, you know, Chuck Stone and his dad. Just so much of this, and you know, it's worth getting your guys' opinion. You know, Two Legs, again, this is largely a show built of guys that you can be familiar with from their day one.
Yeah.
And now here you are behind the curtain. What is that? You know, what was this like for you? We talked about last week. It's your first Absolution. Getting to see all of this and see all these guys have and achieve these big moments.
Well, it was cool, obviously, for me, because, yeah, I've known these guys since they debuted and stuff like that as being a fan on the other side. And now when I'm in the back there, it's cool because it's not some random guy that's like, AIW is built on guys, and the people that have the belts are the people that have been around and come up through the system. So it's like, you know, it's cool to see guys that I saw debut now finally winning titles and stuff. And I'm getting to be the guy that, like, hits the music for them. It's fun.
Yeah. Are there moments that stood out for you?
I when his dad ran up to the guardrail like that, like, we don't have the best view back there on the monitor. It's not, I think Gargano even said he walked back to, he's like, is that a phone? He's like, are we using somebody's phone? I was like, well, it's an iPad, but yes. But you can't. It's not the greatest view, but you could see his dad come up because that bright red shirt too. You could just see how excited he was and running to the guardrail when they won those belts, man.
Yeah, and Thorne, for you with as we keep harping on these homegrown talents, any points of pride here watching these guys, because it, like you said to Pedro, hey man, we did this, we pulled this off, and we really did. But so did all of that talent. They did just an incredible job.
A little, another behind the curtain thing is Twan was supposed to lose, right? I just figured, Justice has been, such an established talent and multiple time, held championships and all this other stuff. And I thought that, he's fallen down the card, obviously, because he's not available that often, but I still thought that, he should win because he is, one of the kind of the pillars of AIW. And, you always want to have, you don't want to just, totally just bury somebody on the, because they're not available. Justice is always going to be a commodity in the Cleveland area. And I thought, Twan having even a competitive match with him would have done the same thing.
Yeah.
But when Justice arrived and, he saw the plan, he pulled me aside and he said, I want to put Twan over. And I said, are you sure? And he said, yeah. He said, I'm sure. I think Twan deserves it. And, I want to put him over. It's Absolution. You know what I mean? This is about, making new people, and I want to do it for Twan. And I didn't argue it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, that's just kind of one of those things that organically happens when, you have such a tight-knit crew of people, right? That doesn't necessarily happen, if, Justice is the guy coming in for the, one match and, whatever. But, that was what he wanted to do. So, that made me feel really, just really good about everything, honestly. You know what I mean? It made me feel good for Twan. It made me feel good for just in general for what we are doing. And then obviously, the Chuck Stone and, bulking season moment, I thought was incredible. A great story told over the last few months that some people probably didn't agree with at the time when there was all these screwy finishes. But, to get that genuine reaction, you know what I mean? That visceral reaction, like out of his family, right? Like that is, that's so great. The main event, I mean, for almost a year, we had been building this Cardona and Bishop match, right? And we were forced to change the main event with about, 6 weeks notice, maybe not even. And for people to be so up for it, you know what I mean? Like two homegrown guys, fighting for the belts. We threw the stipulation in there as a surprise, obviously, to kind of spice it up a little bit, because we didn't know if people were going to be on board with it or not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think they would have been, now after the fact, I think they would have been on board with it, with or without the stipulation. But I thought that, that was great. I mean, there's the whole day, felt really good, honestly. You know what I mean? Like, over 500 pre-sold tickets. Like, there was just not too much to be worried about on Saturday. And, it's really just because of the crew that we have and, everybody, you know what I mean? From the talent to the students to, You know what I mean? Everybody helping along the way. You know, I truly feel that AIW is a sports team. You know what I mean? We're a team. And, you know, sometimes, you know, people, you know, that aren't on the team come in and out, and, you know, that's whatever. But, you know, for the most part, the core is a sports team, and we're all in it together. And I thought that, you know, Saturday really just highlighted that. And, you know, to have people talking on Twitter and, you know what I mean, just about this show that was virtually all homegrown for the most part, other than a few things. Like, I just, you know, I thought it was great. And I hope that more people take notice of what we're doing and continue to support. Not only, you know, not every show is going to be a big show. That's not how we do it. You know, you got to kind of, I said this in the Discord chat, you know, it's not always popular to try to sprinkle in storylines.
Yeah.
When you can do dream matches every month. You know what I mean? Like, it's tough water to navigate through. But I think Saturday is a good proof, you know, that if you stay along for the ride, you know, you will enjoy when the big show comes around.
Yeah, that payoff,
And they're not always going to be big shows, but you know, it's I don't know. I was very happy with it, and I hope, you know, people realize, like, hey, you know, maybe I shouldn't skip a show. You know what I mean? Maybe I should kind of try to, you know, come along for the whole ride. And, you know, now coming out of Absolution, you know, we got a couple fun shows coming up that are going to be a little bit looser and more fun to close out the summer. But, yeah, you know, I'm very happy with the whole thing.
I think Saturday, too, was a very solid stamp on the career of Derek Dillinger, that he can be a main event guy and he can hold his own. And you know, because Josh has been having some, you know, he's held the belts. He's had a lot of great main events. Josh has been around doing his thing. It was nice to see another longtime homegrown AIW guy, Derek Dillinger, get a chance to really show that he, you know, that he's a main event guy too, and he can hold his own. He can put on a great match. Stipulation. I said some of the little things that Derek does are so great, like the Ziggy with her costume, like the, you know, with the it was like a tribute to that Midsummer movie, like that. There's a lot of things that they did, like subtle shit that I think adds a lot to a big show like that.
That whole outfit was so unsettling. If anybody has not seen that movie, it's
right, exact. But it's subtle too, though, and it's like a very subtle nod to certain things like that adds to that big show end of the year. Like I'm saying, it's all, I don't know, I think that all adds together. I don't know, to me, I think that was a good thing.
I'll shout out to everybody. You know, a couple people, you know, put together special entrances because they felt it was the big show.
Yeah.
And I thought it was cool. You know what I mean? There were some, you know, there were some people that, you know, kind of, you know, said, oh, you know, I don't know, this seems kind of corny or cheesy or whatever. And I said, who cares? Let people enjoy themselves and have fun. If they want to do it, they earned it. It's not taken away from anything. You know what I mean? Like, let everybody go out and do it if they want to do it. And several people did.
Yeah, I mean the Bitcoin boys with their private security.
They had a whole choreography and stuff.
the Road Warrior entrance with the shoulder pads for a bulking season. I mean, just great stuff. You know, that's what it's supposed to be about, Absolution, right? You're supposed to really get into it. It's supposed to be special, so you do the entrances and things that maybe you otherwise wouldn't be able to. You know, I mean, Dom, Christ, you talk about special, you know, star-making matches and things. Dom was incredible.
That was one of the best.
But I'm just going to say that's a coming-of-age match, I think, for Casey Carrington.
Oh, yeah.
Right? You know, I mean, he was holding his own in that dog-collar match, and I think showing people that, hey, you know, this young kid is here, and he's got something. But in terms of
and that's what I mean.
Yeah.
You know, and that was kind of my thought process, similar to, you know, my original idea for Tawana Justice. You know, everybody can't win, but you know, some of these people, you know what I mean. There is a lot of fandom to be earned in a loss at the same time. You know what I mean? On
absolutely.
this show and what they did. And I think that Casey was another one, that took it seriously and tried to put his best foot forward. And, they had a little special entrance. They came out as the Dudley Boys. Yeah. They did ask me way too late in the game. They did ask if, I would book Joel Gertner for them, which was it was way too last minute, or else maybe I would have considered it. But, whatever. It was, they had fun. They enjoyed themselves. And, I thought that everybody delivered, great performances on Saturday night.
Yeah, Dom coming out to Fleetwood Mac, Chain, just perfect for that match and everything. So many. And even Cardona playing his role so well, people don't necessarily realize, and I'm listening to people and get mad that he's out there talking, but he really cut down how long that break would have been for them to set up the barbed wire, because he just kept talking and giving them as much time as he possibly could. And that's such a small, nuanced thing that I don't think people realize. And the guy's a professional, I'm just sitting there watching him this is unbelievable. He's just going to keep going as long as he can and give everybody time. And it was great. It was perfect. It was exactly what we needed out of him in that moment. All right. Should we look forward here to the Fonzie tournament?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, let's look forward.
Let's look forward. One big note that was recently announced, as we talk about people who return at Absolution and maybe appearing this weekend. He's not in the tournament, but he will be in action, is Tim Donst. So always fun to have him back in the fold, and you're going to get him 2 weeks in a row, as he will be at the first annual Bill Alfonso Hardcore Tournament in non-tournament action. But this is happening this week. Ashtabula. Thorne, what's the website for tickets? Is it through us? Can they get tickets still, or do they have to go through Great Lakes?
So it's posted on all of our socials. It's on Eventbrite. They're also going to have tickets available at the door this Saturday. The kind of festivities kick off at 2 p.m. I will let Mr. Two Legs run down that schedule here in a second. But, so, there's going to be all sorts of vendors and different things going on throughout the day. And then the live wrestling show, the Bill Alfonso Hardcore Tournament, will kick off right around 5 p.m. and go roughly till 7:30 or 8 o'clock. We'll be racing against the sun a little bit there. But, so you can find the ticket link on all the AIW socials. Great Lakes Geek Fest on Facebook. They are hoping, to move quite a bit more tickets. It's because it is such a large facility. So, they're not turning anybody away on Saturday. So there's no fear of a sellout or anything like that. Like a usual AIW show, the venue in Ashtabula is gigantic. They want as many people out there as they can humanly get to show up to that facility. It's, I don't know, what'd you say, about a 45-minute drive from Cleveland, depending on where you're at?
Yeah.
Roughly. So, let's come out. They're going to have beer for sale. They were able to get a beer truck. There's going to be food trucks out there. Vendors, different, activities going on throughout the day. Two Legs, do you got that tentative schedule?
Yeah, and then last year, 'cause I don't know if this is, I guess, cut me off if this is not allowed, but they had that big area where they let us park, and, you could get there earlier. People were just hanging out. They brought, food and stuff, a cooler of, food and drink stuff. People were hanging out kind of before all the stuff started, too. I'm sure that's probably allowed again this year. I don't think
I don't know if we're going to formally advertise that too much, but
I just mean in general for the fest, the doors open at what time does the gate open?
2 o'clock.
Oh, okay. See, I thought last year it opened a little bit earlier. I guess you could cut that out if you want. The schedule for as far as it goes right now, We have wrestling cheer starting at 210. PVD Pod Van Dam will start at 310. At odds at 410, kind of going in that order. I don't really have, I'm not going to give specific out times just in case anybody, goes a little under, a little over. But we may be sprinkling some other stuff in between there. There may be some dark matches in between there. There may be some AIW school demo type stuff. But it's all kind of a work in progress. We've never really done a big outdoor thing like this, especially with the pod stuff in between. So it's all going to be a little bit of a, kind of as we go thing.
And there's go ahead.
Sorry.
Nope. Finish.
Oh, okay. We had the live wrestling show, like you said, bell time starts at 5, and then we're gonna do this show. AIW the card is gonna change directly after the wrestling show.
And so what I was gonna say, we also have what we didn't do last year is some fun interactive stuff for people. For instance, we will have an area in which you basically can cut your own wrestling promo, and we're gonna record it. It's the only thing we settled on some other things as well. If I'm not mistaken, I know that was one of the big ones.
Shout them out. What do you got?
I was all I could remember off the top of my head. Trying to remember what else we had. There's a backstage interview, right? Or is that along the same lines?
It's kind of along the same lines. There also Bushwhacker Luke will be there signing autographs.
Yes.
Doug Gilbert and Full Nightmare Freddy Get Up will be there for the meet and greet, and Fonzie will also be participating in meet and greet. As well as, all the different AIW, wrestlers and personalities will be popping around, throughout the afternoon. You're probably going to see some people pop on to some of these podcasts live throughout the day and maybe get, some content that you normally wouldn't, expect at a live wrestling show. So, yeah, I think there's all sorts of different things that we can do. I did pitch my Dunk the Duke idea, but it was denied by the organizers.
I can't believe that.
If ever there was
money.
The right moment, yeah. Yeah, that got shot down.
Especially after that throne entrance, people would really, you know what I mean?
Oh, people are really going to want to dunk him. That's true.
Yeah, that's money on the table, man.
And I'm sure, we're going to have, all sorts of... people popping on the live AIW podcast at the end of the night. So, it should be a fun time.
Yeah, I would, venture to say that perhaps we have the winner of the Bill Alfonso Hardcore Tournament on there. So you never know, folks. But yeah, come on out. There's so much other fun. There's just fun activities throughout the day. And then, of course, the tournament and everything starting at 5 o'clock. We've got 8 competitors, right? So 4 first-round matchups.
Yeah, just to break it down for everybody, they have tickets starting at as low as $20. Mm-hmm. There are a few front row tickets remaining. And floor tickets. And what I would recommend if you want to get a floor ticket, which is classified on their Eventbrite as a ringside ticket, because the GA is in bleachers that are going to be pretty far away from the ring. Mm-hmm. So I would recommend springing the couple bucks for the floor seats. Front row $50. You're going to see some violence. Very similar to Saturday, I would imagine. So, come on out and, let's listen. You have to support these, these organizers. They are bringing us to a new area because they want a good professional wrestling show to come to Ashtabula County. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they are putting it. They're putting it all on the line to bring us out there, and they've found us a great facility. Everybody that was there last year, I think, had a really good time. And I hope that this year is more successful for them. Honestly, that they really want to make this a yearly thing, and that is, as everything, that really depends on how it is attended and. I know they are hopeful to sell more tickets before Saturday, and hopefully, this is last week. I didn't even come on for the hard sell, so this is a real hard sell. Yeah, they really needed the support Saturday. and if this works, this becomes the model for us to do similar things in different areas. And if you want another hardcore tournament show, you got to come out and support it on Saturday, because this is also, kind of the make or break if we're ever going to do something like that again.
Well, we've already dubbed it an annual tournament, which is a whole other thing for me. Typically, it's the inaugural tournament, but let's get ahead of ourselves, and we're doing that because we're hard selling this to you. It's going to become an annual tournament, but only if you people show up, and that's what we.
Well,
need
it
you
might
to do.
revert to the inaugural, one and only.
Here's a point that should be stressed real quick. We didn't say this enough. I didn't really sell this to when I said the lineup. At odds with wrestling. Joe Sposto. You know how many
Joe
times
Sposto.
people tell me, hey, or so you hear people say, come on, bring Joe back to Cleveland, get Joe in Cleveland, get him out here. We're bringing him back. He's doing a live show. You get to hear his show you listen to every week, At Odds with Wrestling, him and Adam Van, the man, Adam Van. They're going to do the show.
Diamond Joe.
Yeah, they're going to.
Diamond Joe's coming back.
Dude, right? Exactly.
Which is what I'm most, honestly, which I am most excited for, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I haven't seen Joe in.
Is to see Joe. I haven't seen Joe since Chandler's funeral, I don't think.
That's what I was gonna say. 5 years. Yeah. Wow. It's gonna be great to have Joe back in the fold. And hey, who knows? Maybe you'll get some classic LFC style commentary. If you
I'm gonna try to twist his arm a little bit.
Watch this back later on. It's not gonna stream live, folks. We're gonna be out in the middle of nowhere. There's no Wi-Fi there. So the only way to actually watch this as it happens is to be there. That's why you want to get these tickets. But let's get into the tournament a little bit itself. First and foremost, John Thorne, what does a tournament winner get?
They get a belt, and then they get the match of their choosing, which you would assume would be a title match at Wrestle Rager.
So, but they already get to hold on to a title. They are already. I don't know if everybody fully knows this.
We haven't really discussed it, but I think it maybe be more of a trophy title. We have not officially made a decision on if it will be a defendable title or not. It may be one, and then it's just kind of a trophy, so to speak, and then if it does become annual, which I guess I did get a little bit ahead of myself in the advertising of this event, then we would put it up again next year. But it's also not totally decided just yet.
Okay.
It's
So
kind of
it'd almost be like
a work in progress.
like a crowning achievement, like when Steve lists people's credentials, and he would also say, and the 20 whatever winner of the the Bill Alfonso Hardcore. So it's not like they're carrying this belt around. It would almost just be. I get that. I kind of like that.
Yeah, they could carry it. They may carry it around. We don't know
for the year.
I'm thinking very similar to like a J-Lit win. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. To the Biggins Cup win.
Right.
Sure.
Okay.
Well, here are your competitors, folks. You've got Nightmare Freddy, Kaplan, Wes Barkley, Madman Pondo, Derek Dillinger, Hoodfoot, Levi Everett, and Ultramantis Black. And what a hell of a lineup that is. There are people on here that we've all seen before, and we've all seen do some serious damage. And then, you get some wild cards in there, some fun throwbacks.
That's another name, though, that guys that we had one time at one of those Winchester shows, which you should come out to, that everybody loved. And here you are, bringing him back again, man. Hoodfoot. People love that dude.
Yep.
Yeah, I tried to make it kind of an attraction, so people do come out and travel out to this show. It's not it's not happening in Cleveland. You know what I mean? It's not happening in Akron. We wanted to kind of put names on here that you don't see that often, if at all, and try to make it an attraction. The organizers were very adamant that they wanted the money to go towards talent that our fan base would want to see that they don't necessarily always get to see. That's what they wanted their money to go towards, and that's what we put it towards. And I think this lineup is a very good example of trying to put our best foot forward. And there's a lot of big shows going on this weekend. You know what I mean? We're up against StarCast and We were up against another show that did cancel in Niles, but I'm hopeful people come out this weekend because we did try to put our best foot forward for the what this event is supposed to be, which is a hardcore tournament. You know what I mean? Ultramantis, Nightmare Freddy, Madman Pondo, Hoodfoot, Levi Everett. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of great stuff that is lined up for Saturday, and I just hope people come out and support it.
When do you get to see Ultramantis Black? That's
Almost never.
another one. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Like
Never.
Seriously.
Unless you're going to the Lehigh Valley.
Which is a great trip, but he don't even wrestle there that often. Like the last time I think I can even think that Ultramantis was on a card was that WrestleMania show however long ago when he wrestled that weird Christmas hardcore match against Nick Gage in like 2019.
There you go.
I can't even remember the last show other than that he was on.
You're not seeing a lot of Man Pondo unless you go to Gathering of the Juggalos, which is a whole other thing.
Whoop.
But on top,
Steve, we are going.
we are returning to the Gathering of the Juggalos. You heard it here first, folks. And then on top of, we'll break down who's fighting who in the tournament. But Josh Bishop was originally supposed to be a part of this, winning both titles last Saturday. He was removed from the tournament because was he going to have a match against himself or whatever? But we want to make it interesting. But it's my understanding that Joshua Bishop still wants to fight this coming Saturday, and he will be in action as well. Is that correct?
Yeah, he will be in non-tournament action, as will several others. You got to break up the tournament a little bit. Isaiah Broner will be in action. Dominic Guarini will be in action. As well as a few others that we're working on, and we're working our way through the card. And like Two Legs said, we're gonna also try, as long as we get these live podcasts going without a hitch, to break up the day. We're also probably gonna throw some bonus matches out there that won't make it on any sort of video release. As far as on IWTV or anything like that, maybe eventually on Patreon or something, but we're going to try to throw some extra matches out there throughout the day as well that you may not get to see it all on video. We may not even record them, to be honest with you.
And so
I've only.
So the way the tournament breaks down, we're going to have 4 first-round matchups, and then from there, the finals is just going to be a hardcore 4-way. So win your match in the first round, and you're in the final. That it's as simple as that. And I imagine a lot of that thought is because, this is a hardcore tournament. These guys are going to beat the hell out of each other. Yeah. We're going to try to save their bodies as much as we're able to. And that's kind of what's going on here. But let me run down what some of these matches are. Leading off with Nightmare Freddy taking on Ultramantis Black.
Holy shit.
People love when shit gets weird at AIW. That's pretty freaking awesome and weird, right? So
imagine
you want to know how you get Ultramantis Black to wrestle. You put him in there with Nightmare Freddy.
There you go.
I mean, people got to come out to that. Like, think about that. As a person, like you said, I know this. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but as a person who used to be a fan, now the other side of it, if I was not working this shit, I would be like, "Are you guys kidding me right now?" Like, Nightmare Freddy versus Ultramantis Black. Where does it take this money, and where do I got to go? Like,
yeah. And then we've got Madman Pondo taking on Levi Everett.
Oh, no.
So you want to talk about crazy right there? I mean, there you go. We've seen Levi get crazy. And this is going to be a whole other level because Pondo, seeing him last year at the Gathering, I don't know, at least when it comes to hardcore, that slowing down is in his vocabulary.
No, I mean, Pondo goes hard every time. You know what I mean? A true legend of this style of wrestling, deathmatch or hardcore, whatever you want to call it. Madman Pondo is an OG. He's been doing it since, the 90s. It doesn't seem like he's slowing down at all. Recently lost a shit ton of weight. I don't know if anyone followed that weight loss challenge, but, recently lost quite a bit of weight. And, he's very motivated. He's ready to go. So, the air conditioner in his car also broke recently. So hopefully you buy a little bit of merch from him on Saturday.
Oh, there you go.
You didn't hear anything about that, Steve?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
Sometimes you just gotta let Thorn be Thorn and sidestep some things to stay on track. The show gets off the rails enough. What
a challenge is all.
One of the other matches that we have, and I mean, if we haven't sold you on it this so far, and you're someone that comes to our shows regularly, and you're like, all right, we got some throwbacks here, but what about the current guys? How about Kaplan versus Hoodfoot? That's it. 2 words. Kaplan, Hoodfoot. Part two. I mean, this time with weapons. Insane. Who knows what could happen in that? Just 2 big behemoths. Kaplan coming off of course, a crazy victory at Absolution. I don't want to spoil it, but I will. A little bit Tim Don's making a mistake. A little bit of Kaplan just capitalizing and doing his thing. So I don't know if you want to call it an upset, but big win for Cap at Absolution 15. And
so much so, you know what I mean? Like everybody in the back, we thought they saw it a different way. You know what I mean? We thought Donst won, and luckily, the ref was able to make the right call, and huge win for Kaplan.
Yeah, and
you'd have to imagine they want to run that back eventually.
You would think so. Yeah, we'll have to see. Maybe one last ride for Tim Donst against Kaplan again. We'll see. And then our final first round matchup is a rematch of the Biggins Cup Tournament final. Wes Barkley, Derek Dillinger. If you did not watch the Biggins Cup last year, about this same time we did that, it was our culmination of our series Go for Broke. These two had a hellacious brawl of a match and put it all out there on the line. And I got to imagine that this will be no exception. Now,
you got to imagine though, Derek. I saw Derek on Sunday, and his forehead was still bleeding.
Yep.
On Sunday,
and he is. I was with Derek recently and saw him.
He's very worse for wear right now.
Yeah, he is beaten up. I saw him limping around. I told him, hey man, 50 Cent got shot 9 times. He don't walk with a limp. And so neither should you.
Wes is a little messed up though too,
Yeah. 2 Duke drivers.
Not even
Duke is no slouch.
And that's not even like kayfabe. That's like, he definitely jarred his neck a little bit. And then he also got destroyed by the barbed wire, like absolutely destroyed at the end. Wouldn't even leave his house on Sunday. So, I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know what kind of shape he's going to be in. But you have to think that Derek has a little bit of an advantage here, but I don't know. Maybe this is going to bring a little bit something out in Wes.
Yeah, a little bit of retribution maybe for both of them. The fact that they're going to, certainly for Derek from the standpoint of, all right, he finishes number 2 to Wes last year at the Biggins Cup. And then at Absolution, Wes comes out and takes out Ziggy, which is kind of what was giving Derek the upper hand. And so a little bit of that maybe costing Derek 2 titles right now. But then Derek lays one in on Wes, toss him into the barbed wire. Imagine Wes wants some retribution for that. So, it's crazy to say, but while that may be, all these first round matchups are very intriguing, but while that one may have the most behind it in terms of the 2 individuals going against each other, man, I could also see the 2 of them wearing each other out and advantage to everybody else in that final. Just a
Whoever
thought.
wins
you
goes
never know.
and beat
Like
the shit, kind of.
Yeah.
And that's and that's the thing why I kind of like the 4-way format is guys are still going to have something left in the tank for that big main event. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? They're not going to get destroyed, going through multiple rounds, which, there's pluses and minuses to that format, obviously. But, I think people are going to have a little bit more left in the tank, for a big main event as opposed to, going through an additional round. And little bit more intriguing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It could be anybody's ball game there. So yeah, you know, I'm actually really excited about it. Just a little day drinking, a little death matching / hardcore wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, you know, and a nice July Saturday afternoon. I mean, what's better than that, right? I mean, I'm super pumped for it. Also, I was informed via text message that there will be a limited amount of Freddy Krueger masks available to be signed. By Doug Gilbert himself, and a couple, you know, kind of toy Freddy gloves, and one like legitimate metal one, I believe. Ooh. You know, that would, you know, obviously be a little bit higher end.
Sure.
What do they call that, movie quality or something like that?
Yeah. It's the movie film quality prop. I mean, I got to check. I'll have to check it out, obviously, Saturday, but it sounds pretty legit. You know, I can't imagine that Nightmare Freddy's got too many more trips to Northeast Ohio in him, so I would certainly take advantage if you could.
Even if he does, who could he wrestle better than Ultraman is Black? Like, that matchup
exactly.
there is.
I don't think it gets any bigger than that.
Yeah, that's it. That's the match, dude. Come on out.
Yeah, that's insane. I mean, this whole thing is just nuts. Also, listen, if you have ever enjoyed Drunk John Thorne on commentary, imagine John Thorne day drinking, then sitting through this tournament, and then, oh, by the way, we're going to podcast afterwards.
Yeah, that probably wasn't well thought out on my end, to be perfectly honest with you.
We'll see, you know, over. You know, we talked about prop bets last week, Ronald Two Legs. What's your over-under for how many either Backyard Crushers or Tito's Waters that John Thorne maybe sucks down?
I say we start with Tito's and water, because then we can get the water and really hydrate, and then you go.
You gotta hydrate.
Yeah, you gotta, and then go to the Crusher. But man, I got a designated driver for this as well. Like, I'm bringing a cooler with like some Gatorades in there and some water.
Who is that designated driver?
Edward.
Because I may need a designated driver myself.
You could jump in with, you know, if you just need a ride or whatever, you could jump in back if you need a ride, but because I'll have room in the truck. But yeah, I got a DD.
Thorne, are you willing to ride in a car with Pod Van Ed?
He'd be driving the car. You could abuse, like, you know, you can say he has to do whatever you want.
Oh boy, it's a risky. That's quite the
conundrum.
Quite the. You know,
it's my truck. It's not like he's going to be in charge of the radio or anything like that.
What's that called? The Sophie's Choice or whatever? You know what I mean?
Drive home drunk or have Ed drive you.
Well, hey, you never know. You want to see how it all shakes out, folks. There's only one way to do it.
You really rethinking allowing the old Pod Van Dam crew into this menagerie of craziness, or what here?
Yeah. We'll see what happens. What do you? I mean, you don't have to reveal it, but you guys know what you're gonna do for your live.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're gonna do the show plus some other stuff. The other stuff you might want to show up for. It's gonna be
some other stuff.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, a little bit of other stuff. There's some people on the card. You know, we booked some people. We did some things. People pay us money. Okay, believe it or not, people pay us money, and we take that money and maybe we did something with it. I don't know.
Wow.
You booked some people.
Wow. That's crazy. Wrestling Cheers has some fun stuff in store, I believe, too. Some interactive type things that they plan on doing for the live audience. So, and then, yeah.
Steve and I are just probably going to be a little drunk, and we're going to make people come on and talk until they tell us we have to leave, I think.
I'm going to definitely be drunk. Am I invited? Is that going to be a three-way? Am I coming on that one as well? Am I doing double duty that day or what?
I mean, it depends on how many mics you got. It depends on your mic setup, but I guess so.
Yeah. We do our best podcasting drunk, I think, John Thorne, don't we? People always seem to be entertained by it.
Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. I don't know.
How long do you think?
Everyone really fucking loved when I wasn't on last week, so who knows?
Oh man.
So listen, come to Ashtabula because that may be the last time you ever hear John Thorne on The Card Is Going to Change.
I'm out.
It's his swan song. One last
Never
ride.
getting invited on again.
One last ride on The Card Is Going to Change. All right. Any final thoughts here, gentlemen? Get your tickets, folks. I'll tell you that much.
Get your tickets.
Go to our social media. It's posted everywhere. At AI Wrestling.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of can't miss type shit here. Joe Sposto, Ultraman is Black, Nightmare Freddy. I mean, there's a lot of shit on this card.
Bushwhacker Luke. I mean, honestly,
Luke.
you know,
Yeah, keep
Bushwhacker
forgetting about
Luke.
I think that's gonna be fucking pretty cool to hang out with Bushwhacker Luke.
Hell
Honestly,
yeah.
I mean, he's probably been on every, you know, like whatever indie, you know, for the last 30 years. But you know, I mean, the dude's got to have some good stories to sit back and listen to. You know, that's like half the fun, right? I mean, you know, and especially him and Fonzie together, who are pretty tight. I think it's going to make for a cool day. And Doug Gilbert, you know what I mean? Like, just think of, that's what I'm really looking forward to is like all of these just, you know, I love when these old timers are just brothering out, telling old war stories, you know what I mean? You can
it's
just kind of
great.
be a fly on the wall and listen to it all.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm pretty pumped for all that.
I'm trying to think the last time that we had Doug Gilbert in. Was it when he was
only in once, in 2015 J-Lit.
That was it, when he was Nightmare Freddy. That's all, right?
He was Doug Gilbert in the first round, and
Yeah.
then he was Nightmare Freddy on day 2.
Yeah. Crazy. So,
But he did a bunch of Cleveland All-Pro shows.
Yeah.
You know, I found some old posters. I don't know how they're going to look, but I'm trying to print up like 5. I found this like old poster from like Cleveland All-Pro 1997 on Facebook. I don't know how it'll turn out when it's, you know, blown up, but I'm going to give it a shot and see, you know what I mean? Because he did a bunch of JT shows throughout the years. So I found 2 posters. You know, they're just like text posters, but sometimes that stuff just looks really cool and vintage. So yeah, hopefully they turn out good. I just, you know, ordered them in 11 by 14 to see how they look. So if they look good, pick one up.
there you go. You know, I think that's going to do it for us here. We need to see more of you at Ashtabula. This is going to be an amazing tournament. It's going to be ridiculous, plus all the non-tournament action, plus all the other random fun happening throughout the day. Like, you know, if you're an independent wrestling fan or just a wrestling fan, what a day to just come out and enjoy yourself. Really,
Even if you're not a wrestling fan, which I don't know why you'd be listening to this podcast if you weren't.
Right.
But if you aren't, I think regardless, it's going to make for a pretty fun day. So, you know, if you have any civilian friends that just like to have fun, this would probably be the show, you know, to bring them to. I'd imagine it's going to be in the vein of a Wrestle Rager in just a bigger space. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the vibe we're going for on Saturday. Kind of, you know, like a 0.5 Wrestle Rager, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that, you know, and that's why I was so kind of on them about trying to secure an alcohol permit at the venue, because you need that, I think, for a day of hardcore wrestling. You know what I mean? You need some drinks,
No doubt.
and some blood, and some, you know, just some good old fashioned fun in this weird, like, fairgrounds
Somebody getting smashed.
grandstand.
Somebody getting smashed through like a table or like a guitar on their head or like a cookie sheet just hits different when you've had like 6 Budweisers. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, for sure. And let's not forget, guys, you know, right around the corner is allegedly the world's best burger. So I think we all got to stop at whatever that place is called.
Oh yeah,
That is the word.
world's best
Yeah.
burger. It says on that sign.
And also, friendly reminder, folks, this is the event last year. Kaplan got ran over by a U-Haul.
You got hit by a truck.
So,
And not to
knows?
say, you know, not to bring the kind of fun of the day down, but Saturday would be Chandler Biggin's 40th birthday.
yep.
I know that his mom is coming, and his brother, I assume, and some of the other family members, because it is his birthday. So keep that in mind. Come out, support them. Patty loves hearing Chandler's stories and talking to everybody and taking pictures with people, and it's going to be a tough day for her. Obviously. So keep that in mind when you're out there and you see Patty on Saturday.
Yep.
It is Chandler's birthday this Saturday. He would have turned 40 years old. And that had a lot to do with, what we put together as well, because he would love just a day of, hardcore weapon-filled wrestling at a fairgrounds. That's just the kind of shit that he loved. A little story, segue is, I think it was near Columbus. I would really have to look it up. It may have been an Ashtabula fairgrounds, though. A long time ago, we saw Doug Gilbert and Tommy Rich reunite as a tag team in what was an abandoned airplane hangar for this weird Cleveland All Pro show. And the only reason why I think it may have been in Ashtabula is because one of the shows was named like something Elm Street because it was on Elm Street. So I would have to do a little bit of research on that. But yeah, man, just I don't want to end it kind of on a somber note, but I wanted everyone to know, Saturday would be Chandler's 40th birthday. So, just keep that in mind. Be there for Patty and everyone else. She does so much for all the talent. Mm-hmm. Providing the medical services and all that. She's gonna, I think Saturday, we need her, every other day, but I think on Saturday she's gonna need us a little bit. So
yeah, well said.
Everyone keep that in mind.
Wear your Biggins shirts.
Yeah, all the more reason to honestly to come out and party with us, because what a freaking celebration. This whole day there's so much stuff that that Biggins would love. I mean, Nightmare Freddy, hardcore wrestling, wrestling podcast,
Pondo,
Madman Pondo, Joe Sposto again.
Yeah. I mean, all sorts of Ultramantis. I mean, all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
Is there's a lot of stuff that was put together for him. Mm-hmm. And obviously I wasn't gonna. I didn't want to say that from the jump. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But this day is a lot for him. So I just hope that Patty has a good day. It's gonna be tough for all of us. You know what I mean? Because it's kind of weird because you think about him all the time, but then once you realize it's his birthday, it kind of really it hits a little different.
Yep, no doubt about it. I mean, that's nothing more to say, folks. Get your tickets. Come out to this. It's going to be a hell of a wrestling show and tournament. So much other fun, and now you've heard it there. What kind of the background is for us in terms of us having a day of celebration. Really is what we're trying to make this out to be. So I know that there are so many people that enjoyed Biggins either on this podcast or at AIW shows. And he's a big part of why you came to AIW and keep coming to AIW. So come on out to this one and let's celebrate Big Guy and just have a hell of a time doing it. So that being said, we hope to see so many of you this weekend in Ashtabula. Again, go to Great Lakes Geek Fest on Facebook. You can find them. They've got the ticketing there. It's on Eventbrite. You can also go to any of our social media at AI Wrestling, and you'll find ticket links as well. Anything else, guys? Thorne? Final? Good?
Nope.
Good?
That's it.
All right. For Ronald Two Legs, for John Thorne, my name is Steve Guy. If we don't see you this weekend, we will talk to you. Well, there will be, I presume, a new episode of The Card is going to change next week. It may or may not be what happens live this weekend. We'll see. But we'll talk to you next time right here on AIW's The Card is going to change.